It's queer. We understand.
Though the earning shit is corny, not for this team is for me. When I'm sorting through the jumble inside my head like every morning. Most life is dull and boring, yeah, not right for telling stories. What's left is often gory, yeah, show death in all its glory. Got too much shit to figure out, and not enough will to do it. Yeah, self-confidence late and ruined, yeah, still cocky, then I'm fluent, yeah. Putting God's name still hammering on my door. Unless you then so you door, better plan on something more.
Hey guys, welcome back to King's Kitchen. Today I'm joined here by my friend Zach. Say hello, Zach.
Hello, Zach.
Oh, we got a funny guy. That joke wasn't used in episode 1. Tell me, Zach, how do you feel about toasted versus non-toasted Pop-Tarts?
I got a good one for this actually. At work, there was this guy who was toasting Pop-Tarts,
Yeah.
and he didn't check the dial on the Pop-Tart machine, so it actually it burned it really bad.
Yeah.
So they're very dangerous. I don't think I should toast my Pop-Tarts because it could lead to tragedy.
Did anything catch fire?
No, he got lucky. He caught it in time, but
Right.
He was waiting for a long time. It was like 5 minutes, I think, with that Pop-Tart.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I would assume
Yeah. Yeah.
that it was 5 minutes. So that was the really bad thing to open with. There is no segue. There is no segue from toasted Pop-Tarts.
I don't know why he chose that one. That's your job, isn't it?
I thought about it. I said, I'm not going to open with that. And then I just went and did it,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let me just throw a random curveball out there. You are also a fan of Fooly Cooly.
Yes, yeah. It's a good series. I don't think I'm as big a fan as you.
What makes you
But-
say that?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Put the guitar down. Put the guitar down.
Fair enough.
Don't swing that bat.
But yeah, it's just a beautifully crafted story that has a lot of nuance to it, I think. I don't think the main points are like super obvious on the first watch through.
No.
That's not
No,
necessarily.
I agree. You definitely have to watch it again,
I-
knowing what you know from the first initial run. Because the first part of it, I think, is like you're experiencing it.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the hell you're watching, and then you have to go back and watch it again and be like, oh,
Yeah.
there's some things here.
There's some symbols. But
The horns are erections. That's
oh shoot. Oh no. Nah, that one I think was pretty obvious the first go around.
yeah. I'm pretty sure he does the weird thing, and then it's got Conti, so that's the reason I
It's
watch it.
Scott Conti, whose name I could not remember in episode 1, I think, when I was talking about it last. And
Oh, maybe I'm the bigger fan here.
oh shoot. I almost bought a figure of Conti. There's
Of Conti?
dude, there's there's two of them. There's these two really sick ones. Sundog put me onto them. No, sorry, not Sundog. Old Spirit. That is the second episode in a row that a guy called them each other's names. What is going on here? They're just both really cool, chill people. They got a similar energy to them, and that's a compliment, you boys listening. But yeah, they have like the regular one
Yeah.
that has maybe it has the guitar, but the red one, which is like the whole palette is red, it has like I think the two guitars, like the one the one it's
Yeah, that's-
formed of and the one it took from
Haruka.
Haruko. I have so many issues with Haruko's character.
Haruka? You don't like Haruka?
Yeah, because I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but when I first watched that, I was going through a situation that felt similar, at least in like theme to
That'll do it.
to Naoto's situation, and since Haruko is like for all intents and purposes like the villain, I would say in the end, or at least the antagonist.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was gonna say. You should not like Haruka because she's really rude.
Yeah. and I saw too much of that person in Haruko and vice versa. Um, and I love how at first when I was still talking to this person, I was like, yeah, like you guys got like similar energy, but like you're not a jerk and she is. But looking back, I feel like I don't know which one's worse.
Is that when she turned to the screen and saw herself in a bunny costume and went no?
Um, that may or may not have happened. But
Oh, no, it almost worked.
let's go let's go with no. But do you know what that's a reference to? Because that's supposed to be like a reference to some other anime.
The bunny costume, I think it's Haruhi Suzumi. I may have got that wrong. It's the disappearance anime. I don't remember her name, but it's something like that. So I think there's a character who's always in a bunny costume in that. I have never watched that one. Haruhi Suzumi? Suzumiya.
Listen, all I'm hearing from you is Haruhi Susan, and I want that to exist. Now.
Haruhi Susan? Yeah, that's the American version. It's a
Yeah,
Netflix adaptation. Haruhi
she's
Suzanne.
she's just known for her really strange laugh. Har hee. Susan.
They got it all wrong. They tend to do that though, apparently.
Got it all wrong.
Oh man, I still haven't seen Cowboy Bebop live action. I don't want to.
Oh, I've heard terrible things.
Yeah, I just saw the one clip with Ed, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, I think, and it like let's put it this way: I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, but I've seen clips from it, and it did not have that magic at all, even from like the intro, like the trailer.
Yeah. Also, first of all, blasphemy that you've never watched Cowboy Bebop.
It's on my list.
No, that's good. At least, as long as it's on your list, because that's a great series. But yeah, I saw the trailer and I was just like, this is Scott Pilgrim. I mean, that's cool. I like the movie Scott Pilgrim,
But it's not what you asked
It
for.
has the cool. Yeah, it's not what I wanted. You know, I'm like, I don't want this CW nonsense. Yeah, and I didn't have a big problem with what's her name who plays. I don't know any of their names. Wow, I'm the blasphemer now. I know Spike. Yeah,
Blaspheme.
yeah. But the actress playing Faye, she like apparently everyone had a big hubbub about her. But I was like, that's fine, whatever. Like the costume doesn't have to be accurate. I don't care about that.
Weren't they just mad that it wasn't showing more skin?
Yeah, basically. Like, oh, but it's not about that. It's not about that.
It was not about that. It's about being accurate.
Jesus, we just want to see her boobs. That's it. That's all we want, and not for her not to yell at us.
About it. Why did I specify that? Is the tall dude, the tall, dark, and handsome guy? Is he the one from that one scene where they're talking about peppers and beef? And,
Yeah, I
like,
think so. Yeah.
He's like trying to tell him about the restaurants like going out of business. No, they don't have enough money to like put beef in it. And the guy's just talking about everything except that conversation, Spike.
Yeah.
Somebody put that into some lo-fi beat because I'd be getting around the lo-fi beats once in a while, occasionally.
Well, you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making them, listening to them. Not yet.
Should.
Maybe,
I can do
perhaps.
that. Maybe that's the next phase.
Maybe that's the next phase of King's Kitchen. But
Anyway,
yeah.
lo-fi beats.
But like it's the song was called like Peppers and Beef, and it's just that conversation. I'm just like, what is happening right now? It was pretty great, pretty swaggy.
Oh my god. Yeah, I only listen to lo-fi beats when I read something or when I'm like writing something.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two times I'll listen to it. Mainly because it's just in the background and not too much like in my face, like lyrics and things. Because sometimes I get distracted by music when I'm listening to it, and I won't write then or draw or anything like that. So it's gotta be a specific level of activity.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I feel like with school, as long as it's actually, I feel like lo-fi I can listen to while doing anything, unless once in a while I'll feel like mentally distracted by it. So usually what I'll do is I'll pick one song and play it on repeat or something like that because then my brain doesn't wander as much. But lo-fi is usually pretty easy to pair with anything. But like other music, I get easily distracted by it. Like I'm not gonna sit there and listen to Last Resort by Papa Roach while I'm trying to get my reading done. You know.
Suffocation, no breathing.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last report. You know, trying to write something.
It's just Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, yeah, Weird Al 2.0. Um, yeah, but you know who else probably listens to lo-fi
Lo-fi.
music to calm down?
Dr. Dre.
I mean, synonymous. I was gonna say Bruce Banner.
Oh my God.
You
Funny that
know,
you bring that up because I've just been I went back and I started reading Immortal Hulk again,
ooh, okay.
and I have no idea why I don't why I didn't like it the first time because I read the first two volumes I think and I wasn't into it.
Yeah,
And I don't know why though.
I'm trying to understand that, especially the fact that you're saying you don't understand why you didn't is like has me even more perplexed. I'm like, what is there
Yeah,
not like?
it's crazy because it's everything I do like about comics too. So it's I don't know what was wrong with me.
All right,
Maybe I was in a mood. I get in moods sometimes
in a
when I'm like,
funk.
yeah, because there's times where I'm like, oh yeah, I can watch anime and I'm in an anime mood, and then there's times where I'm like, I don't want to watch any anime. I'm just going to read a book.
I want to
But
watch
and
the
there's
Mangler
times,
Hulk mangle a criminal and ruin
yeah,
his
that's
life.
it. Yeah. I think it was just a jarring change because I had read the Marvel Now one. I don't know if I'm going to get that right. Peter David. I think Peter David wrote that one.
Is that when he
God, I
gets
think it was
killed?
him. No, that was before. That was way before.
Okay.
That was probably the arc before it, I think.
All right.
And yeah. But I do know that it was just such a different feel to it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and the way that it just kind of went on was different from what this was started. Like this was a totally different comic, just from the jump, and but I like it now, so I don't know what was wrong with me then.
Right. It's like so freaking cool. I think I was probably around issue 15. I just, after like probably more than a year, picked it back up and started poking around a little bit in it to see where I was. And I just reread the part where like the dude with the gun hand, I don't know, bro. I want to know what he was on because he knows what Hulk is and he knows this one's immortal. And he's like, I can take him. I can take him. Just give me a sec. I can take him. I'm like, bro, what are you smoking? Like, what are you on? Like, and then Samson comes in.
Hell yeah, that's a good moment. That's a good moment.
Also, I love how
That's yeah,
they
go on.
they bring him in and make it look like it's gonna be a fight, and then like immediately in the next issue, he's just like, hey, old friend, and
Yeah,
then
because
just like,
he's his therapist. He's not here to fight the
but
Hulk.
like,
He's a woman.
why'd he blow a hole in his head to say how's it going, pal?
To calm him down, obviously. He shot the Adubla oblongata.
Is that what he did?
No, I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say you sound like Kanye West up in here. He has a bar
Oh
about
no!
that in some
Do
song.
that.
What is that song he says that in?
I don't know. I don't know what
Maybe
that
it's
one.
American Boy. That could be it. Which is the only
Gotcha.
song that like. No, there's songs from him I know, not many, but like, that's the one that Chug Jug, the Fortnite joke song.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what that that's what that's based off of.
Oh no.
It's pretty.
Um,
You can't lie. It sounds good.
I don't know about that, but I just want to make an addendum because I said Peter David. Peter David was not the writer of that previous run. It's Mark Waid. My bad.
Are you sure it
But
wasn't?
I pissed everyone off with that one. No.
Uh-oh.
But no, it's just for me. It's for me. I just wanted to addendum that. But yeah, going back to Hulk, man. I mean, Immortal Hulk is. I think like just that Samson reveal alone is what I like about the comic. Like it uses
Old
Hulk's
stuff.
continuity
Yeah.
in a way that when you bring it back, it feels nostalgic. Even though I never read that era of Hulk with Samson.
Hmm.
Like I don't know that. I don't know many stories with Samson in it. I know Samson because I've read stories, but I haven't read those stories that are iconic. But it feels nostalgic. It feels like someone, this guy clearly loves these characters.
Yeah.
And it
Like
comes across, and it's really good.
just random freaking stuff. Like there's like what a single part where his dad is revealed to be the devil, and then they turned it into a whole arc in Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Like that is so sick. Also, that was the first when Absorbing Man split in half. That was the first time I was like I really looked at it as a horror comic. That was pretty
It's such a good panel.
yeah. And I heard from Nick that it only gets worse from there. Speaking of Nick, guys, this is the guy. This is the guy that's gonna fight to the death with Nick over Michael B. Bendis and whether or not he's good at making comics.
Shake my head, shake my head.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Listen, it's oh god, let me tell you. I'm gonna try and grab some of the comics as examples that I
Okay.
have
Yep.
for that. Just so I'm ready, because I want to at least be like, listen, this is what I don't like about it. And then I'm just going to listen to him gush and be like, yeah, that's great. I'm glad you love Michael Bendis so much. And it's just that's going to be it. It's
Listen,
going to be.
He's saying this because he wants to give Nick a false sense of security. He knows Nick listens to these the second they drop, and he wants Nick to be ill prepared. And then Nick's gonna show up and just get beat around the neck and head with all of Bendis's allegedly terrible comics.
Not terrible. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I'll get into that then. Not now.
We will eventually.
I'll save it. I'll save it for the promo night.
Apparently, I need to read Venom after Immortal Hulk.
That's the one I'm reading next. That's what I'm going to read after Immortal Hulk as well, because I have not read it yet, and I hear good things, and I like Donny Cates, the writer. He's really good.
Mhm.
Like, I've read other stuff by him, and he's very creative. I'm excited to see what he does with Venom, because I don't like Venom.
As a
But I
character,
will see it.
as a
Yeah, as a
design?
character, not the comic.
Okay.
Just in general. Yeah, like I've never really loved Venom. Maybe as like a kid I liked Venom, but it's, that was because of the animated series and all that.
Venom.
Yeah. Venom.
But
Knock, knock,
yeah, this is like usually Nick will just be like, "This is a good comic." They're like, "This is also a good comic." Oh, what do you like, Spider-Man? This is a good run of that. With Venom, he's just like, "You need to read it."
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
there's no like he did it. It's that good apparently, and I don't know if I told you about my feelings on Sentry.
No, tell me.
I think he's a really cool concept. Nick absolutely hates him because he's used as a plot device, and that's true. I'll admit
Yep.
that. And every time he comes back, they like reboot his backstory. I think it just started with, "Ooh, he took a serum that makes him 100 times as strong as Captain America." It's like, all right, how does that explain flying?
Because Captain America can't fly.
Yeah, right.
What?
But
Because we wanted Superman, but we didn't want to make him Superman.
exactly. They keep
I guess that's Hyperion, but whatever. We'll get into that later.
they keep changing it. Here's the thing. Yes, Sentry is a ripoff of Superman, but also he's more interesting than Superman.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that because
I'll tell you
think
why I think that.
there's fans of Superman out there who will kill you. So
All right. Well, I haven't seen any, so come at me.
that's a good sign. But also, is it a good sign? Because if you can't see him, you won't see him coming.
Or it could also mean they don't exist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lois, are you okay?
Yeah. Anyway, so
Anyway,
Sentry is interesting because he has this whole dynamic where the Void is like his evil half, and every time he does good, the Void is like doing an equal amount of evil on the opposite side of the planet or something, which is never fully explained, I don't think. But I went on a deep lore dive. I didn't actually read these comics. If that consoles you poor Superman fans out there that think I don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably right. But from what
I do agree though. That's interesting. I like that concept a lot.
yeah, and like there's this whole thing of whether or not Richard, whatever his actual name is, actually exists, or like if there is an actual Sentry, or if like his personality was just made up as a way to hide the Sentry, and also his wife like knows about it but like doesn't, and he has a dog and a watchtower, but like he's never around long enough, so why even give him an established location? Like I don't know, man, but they brought him back, and in Venom, and
That's
what'd you say?
I said that's the entirety of comics right there. If they brought him back, I don't know.
But are you familiar with Quasar or whatever his name is from Annihilation
Quasar?
Conquest specifically? Quasar, yeah.
Quasar.
You know what they did to him in that?
Yeah, they fucked him up.
They brought him in to demonstrate how strong the enemy is, right?
Yeah.
You want to know how strong the enemy is that's connected to Venom?
Not really, but go ahead.
They used Sentry to do Quasar's role.
Oh no, they got your boy.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then, I think the thing is called like the Void or something, or
Yeah, I think
whatever
you're
his
right.
name is, and he just says, "Yeah, I made the Sentry." I'm like, those
Oh,
are some
shit.
bold freaking claims. Are we doing this right now, writer? Are we
mean-
saying this right now?
Isn't that could be interesting too if explored? I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah, but I feel like outside looking in, I haven't read it yet. All right, this is
Yeah,
for
so-
all of you who hate my opinion on Naruto since I haven't seen Shippuden. You can, this is to your credit. I'm talking about something I haven't read yet.
Like,
But
put a pin in that. I want to talk about that. What's that?
Anyway,
That sounds interesting.
so basically, I just feel like it was a way to just make him seem strong, Void. That's all I have to say about that. No. He said he made the Void. No, he made
yeah.
So the guy's not the Void. He's I forget his name, but he made
okay.
the Void apparently, which means,
Gotcha.
and then I guess it's confirmed that the Sentry is just a positive face of the Void or something. Yeah. So he's really evil at the end of the day. Anyway,
I can see why that upset you.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, okay, well, I guess Ghost Rider's my new favorite now.
Is it Cosmic Ghost Rider or just Ghost Rider? Which Ghost Rider is your favorite?
I think just regular Ghost Rider because in theory, at least Nick tells me I'm wrong, so I guess Wikipedia is wrong. I thought he's as strong as whoever he's fighting if the Spirit of Vengeance is like agreeing with him that he should be fighting them.
That's interesting, yeah.
I thought that's how it worked because in Worldbreaker Hulk, he shows up and he's like, I'm gonna kick your butt. And like the Spirit of Vengeance is talking to Johnny Blaze or whatever his name is, and he's like, this is a bad time for you to want to take the reins on the Ghost Rider. And he's like, nah, let me do it. I want to do it, please. So the Spirit's like, all right, cool. Go ahead, try it. And then he starts getting kicked around. And then he's like, all right, fine, Spirit of Vengeance, you take over. Spirit of Vengeance is like, bet. And then punches Hulk into a crater in the ground and picks him up to penance stare him, which probably... well, here's the thing.
That would work. That would work.
It would, but when he went to do it, he saw that Hulk was not at fault for what was happening. He was like, oh, shoot, they're the bad ones. You didn't do nothing wrong. And then he just leaves him and walks away.
It could have been cool if it was like, oh, it's Bruce Banner as well, so like you're taking 2 souls for the price of 1 or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure he could have if he was in the wrong.
Oh no, but that's what I mean. Like that's why he's not in the wrong because
Yeah.
there's 2 people and one of them is a victim essentially in this.
Oh
situation.
yeah, that's true.
He's in the backseat.
That'd be an interesting take because it's established in Immortal Hulk that the Hulk itself is a person.
Hell yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting. Like when he's like, I love you, kid. Somebody had to.
Oh my god, that line, dude. Oh, I was sitting on my toilet at like 1 a.m. like, oh god, I'm gonna cry.
Hulk says I love you at 3 a.m. He answers.
I look in the reflection and I go, Hulk, come on, buddy. And then I hallucinate. No.
I love the whole thing with him being in mirrors.
Oh, it's great. They do it so well too, and like I like the idea of like everyone else also who has a Hulk also sees it in mirrors now, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah. Also,
Symbolism.
wasn't the only reason it was glaring at him is because it had his dad in it still?
I think so, yeah.
Or maybe wait, didn't Abomination have it at that point though? No, not Abomination. Squatch.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, was it the other way around?
No,
He took the Squatch.
After he beat Squatch, he had it, and then I think he looks at it, sees Hulk glaring at him, and then when Bruce looks away, it's his dad's face. Him telling you, the reader, like, hey, this is what's happening.
Right? Yeah.
There's something. This is gonna make sense in the next issue.
It's so well executed.
It's a good comic.
Yeah, but
Speaking of good comics, I don't have a segue. I'm just pretending I do.
do it. Too late now. You have to do it.
I did. I jumped in. I before that I was reading the Daredevil run, the
Okay.
most recent one by Chip Zdarsky.
All right.
That one's pretty good if you're a fan of Daredevil, if you like the show, or if you don't know anything about Daredevil. That one's pretty good because it's kind of the same thing with Immortal Hulk. It's like taking this character, being like, here's his history. You know, you don't care about any of this, you don't know any of this, but it's cool. We're gonna walk you like slightly through it, and you get to watch this man get punched a lot and punch other people a lot. He's not the Hulk, but
Perhaps
he's a guy in a costume.
Perhaps I will be enticed once I see more of MCU Daredevil.
Ooh, I would say watch the show first, definitely. 'Cause the way that they write it in the new comic, it feels like the fourth season of the show and what it should have like been. Essentially, it has that vibe of the show.
So,
because I just read it like that.
So you mean it didn't have Kingpin being bodied by a child and then hit by a car and then shot in the face?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened.
Right.
Hawkeye doesn't exist.
There's no evidence that it happened.
Listen, you don't want to. You don't want to. Hey, listen. That's my secret, Cap. There's no Hawkeye. If there is,
that's my secret, Cap. There is no Hawkeye.
I'm gonna get real mad, and we're gonna talk about that, and I'll shout about it to the roof.
Well, now I want to talk about Hawkeye because that's not been covered on the channel yet.
That's fair. Okay. You want to open up that bag of worms?
Let's sure. I'll start since I've
go for it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna stop.
But
so
I think
you gotta go. You gotta go first.
King Cook to serve. But yeah, no, I think I liked it. I felt like I don't know, something about the choreography with the fighting with Kate Bishop felt very unconvincing in the first two episodes. Like later on it felt fine. Like when she was fighting Yelena, it felt natural. But like in the first two episodes, it just looked like, I don't know, it just felt like not convincing. Maybe it had to do with the fact that she was in that costume that was way too big for her. She just looked like a little child in a Halloween costume beating up thugs with no issue. I was like, yeah, I know she trained in martial arts, but these are hardened criminals? ?
Yeah.
So like this feels off. Like she's what? She's supposed to be like 19, 20, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think in that show she's either 19 or 20 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels weird. But like with the Elena later on, it looked better.
It's off. I think it's because I don't know what it is. I don't know what they did, or if production was like halted by COVID and all that. But there's definitely something wrong with the fighting in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely agree. Like, there's the scene later on where like Hawkeye comes in and he's like ready to go, and he's like, I'm gonna fight Maya. And you're like, okay, and like it just cuts around way too much.
Okay.
And I kept getting lost in that fight. And I was like, I don't know where we are, because one minute we're near a car, the next minute we're on Maya's side of the screen, and like she's doing something, but like they're in a different location. It looks like it's just weird. It just jumps around way too much in that fight scene, and in all fight scenes, I think in that show, I don't think like it works very well. I think, like you said, the one where they're running after Clint and like it's like the one single take, like them just beating the shit out of each other, Yelena and Kate. That's a great scene. But that's because it felt like it wasn't able to jump around too much. It was like, oh, it's a single take, so you can focus on what's going on, and it looks like a comic book, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
they should have more of that. More of that, definitely. Not less of whatever everything else was.
I think that's a good take. I think, yeah, I agree. The fight between, I don't remember what I was thinking exactly, but when you mention it, that last fight did feel a little weird with Hawkeye and Maya. Like, and also, why did he call his wife? And then she's like, "You don't have to ask for permission," clearly implying he's gonna kill someone, and then he just doesn't do it. Was it because he was wearing Go ahead.
No, I'm going Super Saiyan. You go on.
All right. I think maybe it was putting on the costume again, but like that doesn't make any sense to bother making that call, I guess.
I hate what they did with like everything about that was real bad. I think since they went Christmas, my take on it, they should have done full Die Hard, right? It should have been 100% Die Hard. It should have been like Clint Bishop is in New York because his wife is mad at him.
You just said Clinton Bishop.
Clint Bishop. Oh, oops.
I don't like that ship, buddy. That's a little sus.
Oh, that's a little too far. Okay, sorry. So Clint Barton should have been in New York because of a divorce with his wife due to the events of Endgame and like him being Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
She should have come back. It would have been like, all right, this is the stuff I did. I'm going to be honest with you. You're my wife. I love you. And she shouldn't have accepted him. And the entire point of this whole thing should have been him trying to get his kids back and like get back to his old life, but it having like kind of like a scarring thing going on. But they didn't do that. Instead, they're like, no, he's got a family and he's happy and everything's fine and he's watching Hamilton the musical, but it's Steve Rogers.
Are you gonna be home for Christmas, Dad?
And then and you got those sad gut punches where he's like, I'm deaf, I can't hear you, son.
Yeah, that was like, I love how they don't bother explaining why he's deaf. It just shows a montage of things that could have caused it. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good moment. I think there's like some good moments in that show.
Yeah, I liked that. That was funny.
I also just don't think that I don't think Jeremy Renner's a good Clint Barton. I'll say it.
What?
I mean, because Clint Barton in the comics is so much more interesting of a character. He's kind of like a screw up and like
it's kind of goofy
the way that it works. Yeah, he's kind of more goofier, and I like that a lot better. And they don't let Jeremy Renner do that.
Yeah,
in the show. Anyway.
In the comics, he's a little Deadpool-esque with his humor, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's like more the way I would describe it is if Deadpool and like Spider-Man had a kid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's got like that self-loathing humor.
Yeah,
he's just depressed.
I love how when I explain to people that I think Andrew Garfield has the best Spider-Man personality, I think I say that, and I'm like, yeah, because in the comics, like he taunts them more, like especially in Ultimate Spider-Man, which I read a lot of, but I probably won't bother finishing. He like there's whole lot of like he like straight up just makes fun of Kingpin and how big he is all the time. Like
that's a great moment.
Then he just beats him up.
He just pulls out the cards and he's like, nope, that one didn't work. All right,
yeah, that was
move on, tough crowd. Like, oh my god.
There are definitely like panels I've seen where Spider-Man's actually annoying. Like there's ones where he goes like way too far. But
oh man, that's a good that's a good thing. Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say like I think like I don't know. Sometimes he goes too far, but like I do love that about Spider-Man when it's reeled in enough. And I think Andrew Garfield showed that on the screen the best.
100%. Like, I mean, I agree. I think he's one of the better actors to play both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. If they let him do like, gave him a good script and a good movie, he could have done a lot more. And without like studios coming in and being like, no, we need to do this, and this, and set up this universe, whatever.
Mm-hmm. You see, it's interesting because he actually had a decent amount of creative input. Like that scene where he helps the kid out who's getting bullied and they like broke his wind turbine or whatever it was. Yeah. That entire scene was his idea.
It was improv, but yeah, he did it. Right. Okay. Yeah. See, that's like, God.
But I don't know if I agree I'm on best Peter Parker, to be honest with you, because I mean, not because of his acting per se, but because of the style of Peter Parker they went for. Peter Parker.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if they gave him an actual like, and not like, okay, well, we got to be different from the other Peter Parker, and we got to be different from.
He's got to be an edgy skater kid, but he's like still a loser. But it's only because he's a skater kid. Like
the reason he has a skateboard. God, I was so upset when I saw that skateboard in like the set photos. I was like, no, don't do this.
Don't do this to me.
I imagine him like just doing like an ollie and like a kickflip and then being like, "Whoa, Spidey-tastic! Whoa, I'm amazing!" Like, no. I actually want to go back to what you were saying about the panels, though, or like back in the comic.
Yeah.
About him being like sometimes like on the verge of annoying.
Yeah.
There's like one, I don't remember what comic it is, but there was like one recent one where he's like saving this guy in a building. And then, like, the building collapsed. So the guy's, like, freaking the hell out. And he's like, oh, God, I'm going to die. And then he's like, all right, just chill. We're going to do this. He starts making jokes the entire time. And the guy's like, why do you do that? And he's just like, well, I do it to keep you calm. And I do it to, like, you're focusing on my jokes and my humor. And, like, you don't notice that we're going to be out of here soon. And, like, or, like, the building's collapsing around you.
Yeah.
And then they get out, and he's like, "See, it works." You're like, "Oh yeah, all right, yeah, that's a good take on Spider-Man. I like that."
That I like. Yeah, I do like when there's like deeper meanings behind things you
Yeah,
just kind of take for granted as part of their character. Like
yeah, yeah. Like what? What's the example? Give me a good example. Go for it.
that was just one of my like us where I didn't actually know what I was gonna say afterwards.
Oh no, oh no, I fed you into this trap. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, I like I like it. I like it a lot. I like. That's why you can't have these same people like writing the movies, because then they start doing like weird stuff, and like, or they run out of ideas, and or sometimes the characters just don't feel the same.
Hmm.
I feel. I think they're trying to keep everything consistent and like to a point where it doesn't. You can't get different takes if you don't let different people write it, which is not like this is a little preview for that fight night. And it's Bendis writing Ultimate Spider-Man for so long,
Hmm.
because it eventually, by the end, it felt like this is a different character. It doesn't feel the same as the guy I read in the first volume.
Okay.
And granted, he grew a bit, but then they like rebooted after a bit, so like it's weird.
Yeah.
And then going into like Miles, I don't think Bendis should have wrote Miles. I think Bendis should have introduced Miles and then gave someone else the book
Hmm.
for the Miles, because I think
Give me
Miles also.
give me a second. I gotta go
Good.
answer the door. All right. We're back. Sorry about that. Continue where you left off. Don't you dare forget.
Oh God, I was yelling about Bendis, wasn't I?
Yeah, about how he
Yeah,
shouldn't have
that's
written
right.
Miles. He should have just introduced him.
Yeah, I think yeah, no, because like I think Miles is very. He just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like a character or a kid. He's just kind of like, I'm awkward Spider-Man, and it's like, okay.
Hmm. I'm
And like, I don't
reluctant
know.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a reluctant Spider-Man. It's like, oh man, like there's so much you can do with that character, and I think like the newer runs. I don't know about the latest run, but like the last recent run I read had some good stuff in there. There's like some anger there at
Mm,
like shit, and it's really good because it's written by like a person of color and stuff like that. So it's really well done,
good.
and I think that's what he should have done when he made Miles. But that's okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I
Ran
mean,
over. Ran over.
the issue is that while I like the Spider-Man stuff in the Ultimates universe is just not a very compelling or inviting
No,
universe, in my opinion.
no.
Like, here's the thing: I appreciate the world. Like, I
Mhm.
just don't want to spend time in it. Like, it's a world where people are super bitter against anyone with powers, and they all started with Captain America. It's a more realistic take, you could say, maybe, on how
I know,
people
yeah,
would
hundred
feel.
percent. I
Um,
agree. It's like, what if they were in the real world? Is the idea basically of Ultimates?
Yeah, and like you don't have like corny names because if you if you call it like the Avengers is corny, the Ultimates is just like oh because they're like the ultimate humans essentially, and how
Which
like
is
go ahead.
super ironic because like the Ultimates is such a 2000 name, and it doesn't sound as good now.
Right, yeah,
And the Avengers is like a household name now. So
yeah. I mean it's interesting though because like it's like everyone wants to be the next Captain America. They want to make the next serum. It's gonna make super soldiers, and it's been made illegal.
yeah.
And like anybody who has powers is essentially looked at as either a mutant or they have a some kind of serum or some kind
Yeah.
of enhancement, and they hate
hmm
mutants. Mutants like have to like don't they like live on their own island or something, or they're like hidden somewhere essentially.
In the Ultimates universe, I
Yeah.
think so. I don't remember as much. I think they had like Xavier School and stuff, but then they just start killing characters off, and you're like, okay.
Oh gosh, I'm glad I didn't read into Ultimate X
No,
Men.
yeah. Oh, Ultimate X-Men is it's a mixed bag. There's some good, like the beginning stuff's really good because it's Mark Miller, and
Hmm.
then he stops coming back, and then it comes kind of like, all right, what can we do with the X-Men that we haven't done before? All right, and you get the weirdos in the kitchen, and then yeah, people
The
get eaten.
weirdos in the kitchen.
Deadpool's a brain man,
Oh yeah, that was you saw that
like a
in
weird
Spider
clear
Man.
face. Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, isn't
Doesn't
that
make any sense.
Krakoa where the games take
I
place?
think so.
It's like
Either
their
I
version
think
of
so.
Krakoa.
Believe so.
which is very ironic because it turns out in 616 that it's literally a giant mutant.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a new thing, right?
And the part that tried to kill them was only one tiny part of it. It wasn't the island, question mark, I think.
Sure,
Like,
why not?
yeah. And then, like...
Is that
Go
is
ahead.
that the Hickman run?
I don't know.
Hickman
You
stuff?
have to ask Nick.
Because I haven't read any of the Hickman stuff yet. I'm excited to, though, because I hear good things.
He
I haven't
talks about
read
X-Men
X-Men
a
in a
lot.
while. Yeah, Hickman's great. I mean, I'll agree on that. Hickman's one of my favorites. Because he's like kind of like he's like the Kevin Feige of like, the comics.
That's all I
He
had
like
to hear.
saved everything. Yeah.
He says, somebody messed these things up. Let me fix all of them at once. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's basically
Let's get this
Feige.
straight. Let's do some weird shit. Like his Fantastic Four run is, no pun intended, fantastic.
I'd have to see that to believe that because I've never found the
Oh.
Fantastic Four interesting.
Did you read? Do you have Marvel Unlimited? I almost forgot the name of the app. I almost said Disney Unlimited, and I wanted to kill myself.
No, but I've got Read Comic Online, which is the same thing but free.
Same thing, right? For free. Oh yeah, whatever, man. These kids in there.
Wait,
their
wasn't that
anarchy.
you the other day who said I like to actually support? Oh no, that wasn't.
No, that was
Dom.
another coworker
That
of
was-
ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I agree on some fronts.
I felt
but,
so
yeah, no.
awkward. I was like, wow, I look like a bum right now.
I looked at you and I went, "Damn, man." He just blazed you out in like 5 seconds, in like 3 words.
It's like, I swear I own comics. Look, they're on my shelf. I own them.
They're real. They're all
They're
real.
real.
You put your hand through them holograms.
They're
No.
hilarious.
Wow.
Damn you.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if it's on there, but the Fantastic Four run, if you can find the Fantastic Four run on your site, which you probably can, of Hickman, it's all over the place. Like, there's a bunch of shit. There's like a bunch of different comics. Because Marvel, because they in modern comics like to make us buy 6 different volumes, which is insane to get one story.
Yeah. What happened to the omnibuses?
They threw them off the buses. No, they were just they stopped doing that probably because it didn't make them as much money until
Right.
you know,
Why pay?
until the whole story's out. Then they put it all together and make you pay $100.
Yeah. Why pay 100 when you could pay like 200 for getting individual volumes?
And you got to piece the story together yourself.
Yeah. But you know what?
there's a lot of-
You know what omnibus I want? Like real
What's
bad.
up?
There's 2 of them. One is Annihilation Conquest. I want that because it has so much stuff in it. Dude, I thought Annihilation was the story of Annihilation Conquest because Nick's just telling me about Annihilation. He's just like, you have Ultron with a sword and a throne, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are made. And then I read Annihilation, and it's like, yeah, Star-Lord's there, but he's some washed-up dude that's like a veteran. And then Gamora's some weird, eyeless, like white-eyed person that used to be a Infinity Stone wielder or something, but she's just kind of evil now, but not really. And she's like a chaotic neutral, I guess. And then you have
Yeah.
Drax, who's the only one that looks anything like what someone who's only watched the movies might think of. Actually, no, not even.
No, he doesn't.
He
No,
looks
not at
like
all.
him, but his personality couldn't be more different.
Exactly, man. They changed it so much.
But I have to say, I have to say that was one gripe I have in Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but guess what?
Yep.
You could have had Drax still have that like literal vocabulary thing if you wanted, but also not make him a complete punk.
God, I hate that so much because like it's not as apparent in 1 because 1 there's like some good moments with Drax, I think, but like in 2 they just throw it all out the window and
He
go,
gets
no,
body-
he's a goofball.
If you think about Ronan and Drax's power levels, he should not have gotten bodied like that. They're probably about
No.
even. Maybe.
Exactly.
Drax might even be stronger because, I mean, spoiler alert, guys, this is why the thing with Drax getting bodied by Thanos without even being touched is so annoying. He rips Thanos' heart out with one hand in the comics.
Yeah.
If that's not enough
Originally-
context for you, I don't know what is.
That's enough said. Oh,
Enough
God.
said. Like, you turn the page, and it's just Drax with his hand through his back, out of his chest, holding his heart. It's like, yikes.
That was like the weird thing though. Like they did that in the movie too, where it was like, oh no, I have to go to Ronin. He killed my family. I was like, no, that's not okay.
That's not how
I
that
guess.
happened.
You're supposed to kill Thanos, but okay. And he's like, I'm gonna kill Thanos at the end. And you're like, ah, yeah, there it is. Okay,
I think
we're
they,
back on track, baby.
I think they did that because they had no intention of allowing him to kill Thanos.
No,
So
I think and they wanted that like they wanted to be like, hey, wait, what? They changed it, and then like at the end, like, no, we didn't change it. Winky face, enough said.
yeah,
Excelsior, whatever else Stanley says.
I guess they just wanted to give him the satisfaction of being able to help kill the actual person who physically killed his family, which he did
Yeah,
by holding
yeah.
hands with a celestial being that wouldn't have died anyway. But we won't get into that.
Spartax. What?
Wait,
Who's Spartax?
listen, this is like the second bridge I've seen to wanting to talk about Eternals. You've seen it, right?
Ooh, yeah. Go for
Okay,
it.
I've got a couple things I have to say about it.
Go
So,
for it. Yeah.
first,
Okay, wait. First of all, I have to ask you one thing before you go into it.
okay,
Did you like it or did you hate it?
I liked it.
Okay, good.
You can
We're
tell
on the
by
same
the
page.
tone of my voice that there
Yeah.
are problems I have with it, though.
Yeah, no, 100% same. But I also enjoyed it thoroughly. It was like, oh, this is all right.
Okay, so first bridge,
Hmm.
Ego said he was a celestial. He is not.
He sure
So-
did.
He did say that. So that's an issue because that's not how celestials work in the MCU. Apparently, they bust out of planets like eggs, which I think there are versions of the comics where that's how it works, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
And then my other issue is what they did with the Eternals and what they made them, and then still said that Thanos is connected to them causes so many problems. Because they made the Celestials robots, where in reality there were three races on Earth. There were humans, there were deviants.
Oh, you mean Eternals? You said Celestials.
Shoot, there are
Yeah, no,
humans.
you confused me. That's all. I was like, wait.
There are humans, deviants, and Eternals. Eternals
Gotcha.
are like just a different species, essentially. They look like humans. And then deviants are, they're deviants, whatever, right? So Thanos is an Eternal with a deviant gene, which is why he looks like that. He's not like Titans are not. Wait, now I got to think about that. How is he a Titan and Eternal? Who knows? But
He's half and half. Yeah, it's. There's a comic. There's a comic for that. That should just be Marvel. There's a comic for that.
yeah, it's a comic
Because
for
they
that.
explain so much and they can't just leave it alone.
Right? But
It's like you don't need to.
so he is an Eternal.
Mhm.
You
He's
would,
half Eternal, I think.
he's hard to. I mean, in the movies, we still, I guess, don't know
Oh
very well.
well, okay, yeah. In the movies, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes,
They're
we don't know anything because they're not going to explain it.
Oh, they're gonna have to because they brought in freaking not Star Fox,
Yeah,
Firefox.
Eros.
They brought in his brother and then made him quote brother of Thanos, and I'm like, oh no, but you're a robot, so how does that work? Thanos is clearly not a robot. We saw his arm get cut off,
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
and the movies
if
are
they ever explain it.
why I thought Titans were a race of people who live on Titan. Like, is that how it works in the comics?
I thought that was the idea. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know much about that side of things. Like I had only recently gotten into the cosmic side with like Guardians and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Back when I like read the Dan Abing and Landing Run.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's their names. Abner and Landing. My bad. I have the comic literally right on my pile right here, so I can look at it. Thank God. But yeah, that was like when I got into cosmic stuff. So I don't actually know much about the Eternals and the Deviants and all that, or the Celestials even. But I did go back and I read some of the Jack Kirby stuff before the movie came out.
All right.
But it actually infuriates me a little bit. I'll get into that right in a little bit. We'll get to that. I'll get to that. First of all, I want to say the thing with Ego though that I find interesting. Because I thought about it on I think I watched it a third time. So I watched it once in theaters. I watched Eternals. The second time when it came out on Disney Plus, and then a third time with my older sibling, because they hadn't seen it yet. But the thing that I thought about, because I thought the same thing, like, wait, didn't Ego say he was a Celestial? Isn't that kind of like not how this works?
Yep.
And I thought, well, what if Ego said he woke up? So what if he was like a seed of the Celestial that like just became sentient and didn't break through the planet, but instead formed a planet around him or like became the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That could work in explaining that, but it still doesn't make sense. You're right. Like I was like, wait, no, did you just not know what you were doing yet? And you just kind of said, yeah, he's a celestial.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But they
Mm-hmm.
could, I mean, if they were willing to make Eternals robots, they're willing to retcon everything else. Basically, somebody's theory is one of these people that like might have been like I can't remember any of these channels' names, like the Marvel reaction channels and like Marvel News. Might have been like Rockstars or something. But somebody was saying they think what they could do is there is a run or at least a version of Galactus where the reason he's going around destroying planets is he's trying to destroy all the Celestials. So that's one idea. That's how they could bring in Galactus. For some reason, I don't know why. I thought that was connected to the other theory, but I think it's completely separate. They another theory was that with Ego, he's a new type of celestial that what doesn't need a planet to blow up or something. It's like the next generation, like the evolution of what they could be, or some kind of experiment they made.
Yeah.
I don't remember how that theory went, but there it is. I wish I remembered more of it. Then now it feels random.
That's different. No. I think that's kind of like that's interesting. I mean, if that's how they do it, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that. I just don't. I think they shouldn't have called him a celestial because he's not a celestial.
Yeah, in the comics he's not. He's just Ego.
Yeah, he's just Ego. Exactly.
And then there's
Like,
alter ego.
Oh God, comics, fun stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry. Getting back to the movie though, I feel like, man, like I don't know what they're gonna like. I don't even know why they would introduce arrows like this early, and they must have something planned. But I don't know if they're going back to that like that world, that story anytime soon.
The issue
Because yeah,
Uh-huh.
go on. No, you go. I'm done. That
I
was
was
it.
gonna say an issue with Arrows is that the only big events that he's like interesting in are the ones that involve Thanos, and Thanos is dead. So,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like
we can't do Infinity War the way it was done in the comics. That ship has long sailed. Like,
I mean, you could bring him back, I guess, but
I just don't see any point in bringing him in at all at this
No.
point. It just seems weird.
No. It would have no weight either. Like again, like the thing I have with Endgame that I don't like is that I don't like past Thanos coming in and being like, I'm the new villain. Because,
Yeah.
it's like the Wanda part where she's like, you took everything from me. He's like, I don't even know who you are. You're like, all right, this kind of ruins everything. Like, who cares? This guy doesn't even know these people. He's just doing this thing because he can. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the threat of Thanos is that he can do it again if he's there.
Yeah.
Because he's done it once. That is the threat of Thanos in those movies.
Yeah.
In that movie particularly. So it's like, and then you took him out way too early, and it's like, okay, you didn't even bring up him, like, his whole death relationship thing. So
Well,
that
do
would be
you
the way to
think-
bring him back.
Do you think that would actually translate well on screen? I'm kind of fine with his motive, at least in Infinity War.
I mean, man, listen, the moment Thanos showed up and is like, he's a palpable threat and scary, and like he's this weird grimace looking motherfucker. And people were scared of him. I think you got them now. They'll come and see the movies. They don't give a shit.
Let her go,
They don't
Grimace.
care how weird it is. And like even then, like this could transition into his love for death. Like I met her and she was beautiful, and I must carry out her will or whatever.
Then they did.
You can do a bunch of things. Like they can retcon stuff, whatever.
I mean,
yeah.
Let's be fair. If they did it exactly how it is in the comics, I don't think
No,
it would
no,
translate
no.
well, because that was
Yeah.
just like he just shows up to like Death's court or whatever, court death, I don't know, and he's just like, I love you. And she's like, doesn't even acknowledge his existence, and he's like, look, I'm gonna wipe out half of all life, and he does it, and she doesn't
It's even-
care. And if I'm
it's
not
probably-
mistaken, doesn't he even snap them back himself?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's
like,
immediately
so, like,
reversed.
The beauty of that though is that you're missing a key part of that. He goes to like a well and stares into it for like a long time, and then learns about the Infinity Stones. It's so bad.
Oh, great.
And then that's how he begins his conquest. And you're like, what?
That makes sense. He's just some
Ah,
purple
it's
dude
so
staring
weird.
into a well.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna die. Infinity gems are a thing. I must kill all these guys and take their
I
gems,
need them.
and then make a gauntlet. You're like, okay, sure, man, whatever.
So like,
But Thanos is interesting in the comics because he's like caught between that, right? Like, I want to be a villain, but also like I also am a hero. I can't line my. And I think they translated that well in the story. He thinks he's the hero.
Yeah, that was at least done pretty good, I think. I don't really mind the idea. It's just if you have the Infinity Gauntlet, do you have any idea how many ways to go about not enough resources, then destroying half of all life? Like they just made him so like narrow sighted that it's like it's convincing in a way, I guess.
It works for the movies, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if he's just going to be a one-time villain and isn't going to come back. But like, I don't know what they're going to do.
I'm
next.
sure they'll bring back versions of Thanos. They can't
Oh,
not.
like I mean, in this day and age where No Way Home exists, yeah.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Oh, let's actually talk about Eternals and how good the movie
Yeah.
was, though.
And let's not get on
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
We're just talking about the repercussions of it.
I feel like if we talk about like those were the two things you brought up, right? That's what we were discussing.
Yeah.
The actual movie, yeah.
I think it was good. I think here's the thing. I think a good comparison for what people are trying to say it is, which is like too many people crushed into one movie. I think a good comparison for that would be Justice League. And I think Justice League flopped hard trying to bring in only 3 characters. And I think Eternals brought in like however many there are in a way that actually worked. I mean, granted, the idea is they already knew each other, but like it didn't feel forced that they were brought in. It felt right. Whereas Justice League, it just felt weird, and they didn't have enough time devoted to the new characters. Justice is great, the director's cut. Remember, you hated that name for it.
God.
I think was better. I enjoyed it more.
Mm-hmm.
And
way too long. Yeah.
it's just too long to conceivably be in theaters is the issue.
It's 2 movies. It's 2 movies. That's all
2 movies.
That's really what it is. Like, if you break that up into 2 like if you put a scene in the middle where like it cuts perfectly, it could be 2 movies.
That's actually a really good point, and they probably should have just done that.
I'm not even like a Zack Snyder like shill. I don't care. Like I hate those people. I don't like the Snyder fanboys, but like I didn't mind that movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just too long. I took a nap in between. And during the interlude, I went right to sleep.
I think I spread it between like 3 different days.
That's smart. That's what I should have done. But no, I had a weekend off, so I just took the time.
Nothing better to do.
No, yeah, but no. Like I mean, I don't think it's the problem. It's too many characters. That's a bad reason.
Yeah. I think.
Go on.
No, I think how do I say this?
Go for it.
I think. Okay, I do think it has an issue. Who was the bad guy in WandaVision who like literally had no goal whatsoever when you break it down?
The weird agent guy. I don't remember his name.
Agent Wu.
Oh, Agent Wu.
No,
That's
the
a
bad guy. No.
No. I was talking about the other guy, Agent whatever the hell his name is.
Oh yeah,
director dude or whatever from Sword. Yeah. He's not a director. He's a whatever. Nobody. The loser. The bozo.
He was the head of Sword.
No, he wasn't the head of Sword. He was like a division something or whatever. I don't remember.
But he said the job should have belonged to Rambo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
did make it.
It kind of the deviant has the same issue as him, where if you actually break down everything up until the final like fight that involves him, his presence doesn't make any sense. Like,
oh, you mean Crow?
Is that what his name was?
The main dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love Crow in the comics. He's actually a comic character.
Oh, okay.
He's like a deviant in the comics. He's like a deviant who's just like, yo, we're gonna fuck him up so bad. We're the leader. I'm the leader. We're gonna do this. And like they always like he's like a weird like Team Rocket guy who like always loses but survives. So like he's like, damn it, Eternals. But like the best part about Crow is that he had a relationship with Thena in the comics.
Wait,
like,
Thena like the Asgardian?
Yeah, no, Thena like the Eternal.
Oh shoot. Oh, so like that one. That was a really awkward reference they did then.
Yeah, it was really like, oh man. And like, I honestly think the worst part of this movie is that like they didn't utilize him. Like you said, they didn't utilize him at all. Like he has a good reason to fight these guys, and it's really compelling and good. And then they They just chop him up and go, okay, you're done. Bye.
Yeah, they basically make him aware of what's going to happen, and his solution is kill the Eternals. How is that going to fix anything? It's already happening. They're trying to stop the emergence, and he's like, I'm going to kill you without asking questions.
Yeah.
And he
He's
knows
just
they're
like,
trying to stop the emergence.
I don't care about any of this. I'm the bad guy. That's like what it feels like. It's like, no, he
Like,
could have been smart and interesting. And
he would have been more interesting if he showed up and said, all right, I'm going to help you guys stop Superman Jr. here. And, you know, if he had, like, died doing that, I feel like it even would have been a better use of his character than what they did.
or better yet, what if he, like, they beat Icarus, right?
Yeah.
And then that's like, instead of Icarus being like, I'm going to fly into the fucking sun and, oh God, wow, this is too on the nose. And, oh God, why did you do this? And I laughed in the theaters and they did it. And I was like, oh no, I got to hold back my laugh. This is not good. This is not good. This is too much of a, anyway. But like, it would have been better if he like absorbed him, right? Like if he took his power and then like now you have an Icarus character who is against the Eternals.
Oh, you're right. That would actually be a lot more interesting.
But they didn't do that, or like, you know, or something. Do something more with him, you know, or like he's like, okay, I'm gonna cut off my arm, and then like I'm gonna regenerate just that part of my arm. And I'm gonna make another deviant, and now I have my own deviants, and we're gonna live in harmony.
Yeah,
and then kill the Eternals.
Yeah, that would be better. But they were just
something, and do anything with him. But they were just like, nah, he's just gonna go into a cave with Thena for like 5 minutes, and then they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be really weird.
Everyone's gonna woo her. And then she's gonna cut his head off.
Yep.
Actually, didn't she cut him into like 5 pieces the way she like swung her swords?
I think it was more. She like diced that man. He was sashimi by the end.
Yeah.
He was cubes. He was steak cubes, and she put little toothpicks in him, and they ate him later. Probably.
They were
that
like,
pizza was him.
They were like, we can't have 2 lingering threats left in the universe.
No.
Eternals, the Celestials are enough. Get rid of the Deviants. They're just out of the universe now.
No. Well,
they could be on other planets.
It's silly. Again, like, you have this really cool concept and it really works. And the problem with the movie is that it's a Marvel movie. It's it's gotta have your action beats. You gotta have your. I love the one part where Kingo's like, are you filming this? And then his valet guy is like, of course, sir. Like, you need your action scenes. And I was like, God, that sucks. I hate this.
It's so self-aware.
It's so self-aware. You know it. You know what's wrong with this whole thing. This is like a 5-minute fight scene, and I gotta watch it. It sucks. It looks cool, but it's not what we're here for, right? Like,
yeah. I think Kingo was probably my favorite character after Gilgamesh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I love. I like Druig a lot. I think Druig is really interesting.
Shoot, yeah, I forgot. I think he was like my favorite initially.
But again, they don't use him. That's the thing with the Eternals. I feel like is it's not that there's a character. There's nothing. The amount of characters is the problem. It's the characters they pick to portray on screen. Because then they were like, well, this is the power. Uh-oh, he's too powerful. We have to.
Let's have him do nothing. It's like with Vision.
Yes, exactly. Like Kingo is like, I'm not going to fight Icarus because I'd be really strong and help you guys out. I can't help you. I do like I think they handled Kingo. Yeah, but they handled him better because like at least with Kingo, it's like, oh hey, I'm not going to fight him because of my beliefs, and that's interesting. I think, right?
Druig was just like.
Too
strong.
Druig's like, I'm just gonna. He lasered me. Oh, I could just control him at any point. Oh no.
Dude, that's a question though. Did we ever see him use it on another Eternal?
Exactly, right? Like they don't do anything with it. They just leave it there, and you're like, wait, does this work on other people? Like, does this work on the other Eternals? Like, can you use this on your?
Also, can we talk about the fact that like, what the hell is the head? Celestial's name Amaresh.
Arashim.
She gave him a power he didn't want him to use. Can we talk about that? You can't control the humans and make them not fight.
But like, that's just it. Don't use it. Don't interfere with conflict, but interfere with interfere with other moments where it's like, oh, because Druig in the beginning doesn't interfere with a conflict, right? He interferes by being like, everyone calm down.
Oh, that's true.
We're here. We're on a giant spaceship.
Yeah.
Stay here and listen. We make you feel calm. We make you feel relaxed, right? Like you make you feel things. So like that's the idea is that like there's the ground team, which is Icarus, and all the fighters, Kingo, Makari, and Gilgamesh, and Athena, they all fight and they kill the deviants and they protect, while the others are like kind of like the science team where they're like, okay, we got to figure out how to advance the civilization slowly so the thing can be born.
Until
And
Festos gets pissed off and just beats just completely cripples Icarus. That was probably my favorite scene in the movie.
good moment, another good moment. Just so, like there's good moments in this movie where I'm like, oh man, like this works really well. And there's other moments like the end where I'm like, this is bad. Why did you do this?
He also
Ah.
totally like said what I was thinking. Like when he tied him down, I think I turned to my friend and said, "This is so satisfying." And then he's like, "Do you have any idea how satisfying this is?"
And you're like, oh, I did that. I guessed it. Yeah. He did the Leonardo DiCaprio point.
Yeah, he did exactly. I don't know why that image is just so good. It's such a good
It's great.
reaction
It's
image.
amazing. It's perfect.
It can be used in so many contexts.
Exactly. It's the perfect meme. No, it's one of the perfect memes. It's a pantheon. Um, yeah, though. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, they really could have, like, if they had focused on like the family stuff and the idea that it is a family that is mourning the loss of one of their members because they live for like 5,000 years together and they're friends and they're a close knit group.
I didn't
and
have
you
a
could just-
choice.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
God, like Icarus is a great character, though. I like that character. I like that choice they made.
Yeah, that was
Because
interesting.
in the comics, he's just a blonde doofus who's like, I fly around and I fight everyone. And you're like, all right, cool.
It's just super random.
Why?
Yeah, no, that
Making
is
him like
that is
the heel turn is good.
yeah, I think it was good. I don't have any issues with his character except I guess he was just it was kind of like he feels like he felt his purpose, but he also couldn't hurt his friends. So he was affected in the end in a positive way, but he just decided I can't live anymore and just
And I
went to the
hate
sun.
hate that they killed him because I was like, you could just have him fly away and then he goes to the other Eternals and it's like,
I mean,
or like he goes to the world mine or not the world mine, the not Olympia. It's not Olympia in the movie. It's the Forge, right? And then like maybe he makes another brand. Like I'm gonna remake you guys, and you're gonna listen to me,
yeah.
type of deal. Because there's like 1,000 models of these things, right? They're like robot people. That could have been perfect for the sequel, but they don't do it. So
Yeah, I got a couple gripes with that. So like also, first of all, he might not be dead. Sentry was in the sun melting and reforming forever and ever and didn't die.
yeah, but they're not gonna they're not gonna bring him back.
Or his consciousness could have been put into another one. Not that I want them to do that. I'm fine with him being dead.
No, I got you.
But it's possible. Also,
He could have flown through it and like through it, right? Instead of going into it, he could have come out the other side.
That's true. That would. He's just like, oh, that didn't work. But it was also possible is no. What's weird? They like establish it as if it's a bunch of exact copies of them on the other planets, but then they just bring in arrows, and it's like,
Yeah.
what? So like,
Well,
are there
I mean-
different models of them? Like, what's going on?
I don't think that it was just all them. I think the one that was her, and then the other ones were just different body types. So like we
Okay.
don't know what they like. We don't know what their final products look like, right?
Yeah, so
there might
maybe-
be another strong one and smart one and mind controlling one, but
So maybe it was just a point was being proven. Was that Erishin that showed her that?
yeah,
So I guess he might have just been proving a point then when he did that. I guess.
yeah. It was like the idea of like we could just keep remaking you essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know because they'll probably take forever to make the sequel.
Oh yeah, dude. We're not
Or-
gonna see
yeah.
that for like 3-4 years.
Because the market dictates what we get to see again.
Well, that and
'Cause,
everything else is already planned out, and that's not on the list.
Yeah, but I've been waiting on another Hulk movie for how many years now?
I don't think it's gonna happen because there's some contract with like you can't have a single movie because of
Because
who owns
Universal will
them.
get a cut.
Yeah. Universal, get on that. Like, just do whatever Sony's deal is. Let us make a single
yeah.
Hulk movie. You know what I want? But they kind of ruined it already. They took Planet Hulk, and then they combined it with like
With Ragnarok, yeah.
right. Yeah, that was weird. They should have just waited, And then, cause actually, you know what? I can't see the plot of World Breaker Hulk actually happening
No, it wouldn't work.
because you'd
We don't.
have to establish the Illuminati first, and then you'd have to make them all decide that Hulk's too dangerous to be left on Earth, and they would never do that.
You'd have to decide a lot of. You would have to lay the groundwork so far in advance, and Mark Ruffalo is not getting any younger, so.
Yeah, and they've also already killed off Tony. Wait, was Tony in the Illuminati? No
Yeah.
way, right?
He's one of the founding members.
Yeah, no, he's
It's
dead.
Tony, Doctor Strange, Charles Xavier.
And since they refused to recast T'Challa, he wouldn't be in it.
He's also one of them. I forgot about that. You're right.
To be honest, I feel like they should just recast him. It's not it's not bad taste to do it. I think it makes more sense to continue the story.
Yeah, I mean it's a give and take thing. Like I don't know why. Like it's like if they recast an Iron Man, which they will inevitably do down the line. I just don't think they'll do it now. Like not for the sequel, right?
Apparently, Tom Cruise is going to be playing a variant of him. I think a lot of people are saying it.
That was the original thing because he was supposed to play him. I think he was one of the choices they were going to do.
Oh, okay.
For the first Iron Man movie, I believe it was him, and then Robert Downey Jr. got it.
And they're also talking about the freaking John Krasinski playing potentially Mr. Fantastic. I don't think that'd be a bad pick, actually. I think it'd be good.
Listen, I was on Team Krasinski until Rahul Kohli tweeted the one like fan art of him as Mr. Fantastic, and I was like, oh, I could see that too. Shit, wait.
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, he would nail it. I think any of them would nail it. It's not that hard of a role, but we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah,
you
just have to be like very unaware of other people's emotions, and you're doing great.
You just gotta ignore your wife get cucked and.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the ultimate. That's the Ultimate's version.
Wait, didn't he get cucked by a Skrull or something crazy like that?
It was maybe in the comics. I don't remember. I know in the Ultimates it's Ben Grimm who cucks him. The Thing cucks him. Because,
Ben does.
Yeah.
Holy.
Oh, did you not read Ultimate Enemy? Oh, you got.
No.
I think you should read. How far did you get into that?
I read through I'm past issue 100 of Ultimate Spider-Man, and then I read the Ultimate 6 or whatever it was, and that was it.
God.
It was a good build-up, and then the ending was so dog water bad that I was like, why did I even read this?
Is that the Ultimatum?
No, it's the one with the Sinister Six, but it's the Ultimates.
Oh, gotcha.
The build-up was so good, everything was amazing, and then freaking Norman Osborn's God complex makes him think, I'm gonna bomb the White House on live television.
Sounds to me like you don't like Bendis.
Oh, was that him?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
It's Ultimate Spider-Man, yeah.
No, I don't. The art style was completely different. No, that wasn't Ultimate Spider-Man.
Bendis is the writer.
Well,
let me look it up. While you keep
Nick's argument was that's how Norman Osborn's God complex works, which I guess is fine. But also, how would he planned it out so well? They escape out of the prison. They're they have the White House by the balls because they're about to give them the money they want. And then he's like, let's just blow it up and show up there and then get arrested by the Ultimates.
He gets drunk and is like, yeah, all right, man. No, we're just gonna fuck it up. We're just gonna throw a party.
Then he just threatens Peter. He's like, you're gonna be this. You're gonna make it the Ultimate Six. You're the sixth member of the Ultimate Six. I'm gonna kill your grandmother if you don't do anything.
That's a really good thing though, because I like the idea of the Sinister Six, but you wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't expect them to have Spider-Man join them. Oh, it's so good.
But he didn't even help them.
It doesn't work.
He moped around crying during the battle, and then the Ultimates show up, beat the living crap out of the Ultimate Six, and then the fight just stops.
Oh, it's just
Isn't there a scene where one of the Ultimates is like, Peter, he can't hurt you, we're here, and then he's like, all right, bet, and then he fights back?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the panels, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's... again, Bendis feels like the J.J. Abrams of comics.
Oh, that's an insult.
No, it's not. J.J. Abrams can really bring something in and make it feel fresh and new.
Okay, yeah. But
and then
are we gonna start talking about Star Wars now? Is that what's gonna happen?
You can't end it. Oh, maybe we can start talking about Star Wars. I'll fight you, but that's okay. I don't like the third one. But
bring
I
that.
don't like Rise of Skywalker. But
We'll bring
I'm not
that
a fan.
back the next
Yeah.
time we talk. That would be a whole rabbit hole. But
Yes.
I think he made the first movie. I really liked The Force Awakens. It was like creating
Yeah.
something new, like you said, and he could have gone anywhere from there. But he has this thing I've heard, and he's even said it himself allegedly.
Mystery
That
box.
yeah, he makes the mystery boxes, but doesn't actually have an answer to them, and then you leave it to whoever what the hell it was that did Last Jedi, and he's like, I'm going to do the exact opposite of everything you wanted because I do not care.
And like, but you would think in theory of the mystery box, that's what it's for.
But it would have to be a good thing. They did the next person chose bad things.
No, the next person chose things that would be like, okay, they're gonna go in a different direction and just fucking do whatever we want. These new characters are
Listen.
at the forefront, and all the old characters are there, but they're not gonna be like in the way. We're going to focus on these new characters. They're all here's 7 arcs you can do with these characters, and then you go to the next one, and it's like, nope, everyone's the same again. Nothing happened. Who is the Last Jedi? What are you talking?
All right, listen. I have an issue with Luke being a whiny baby that lost all progress he made in the original trilogy. It's a disservice to his character. Would you agree?
I don't think so.
How?
Because at the end of it, he becomes that Luke that you want to see.
And then dies.
And then dies. Yes, why would he not die? Why would you want him if it was just Luke Skywalker again?
I'd be fine.
And
Okay, listen.
why even make a new trilogy?
I would have been fine with him showing up and dying. He takes his X-Wing out of the water. He does the whole thing he couldn't do that Yoda did, but instead they stuffed that into the third movie for weird, random reasons. But they should have done that in the second movie. He should have showed up and died. But instead it was a force projection, and the explanation was, I'm a little tuckered out, so I died. The reason for his death is what bothered me.
That is such a disservice to what he did in that movie, and it's such bullshit.
Dude. You know what he did? He complained about how Jedi shouldn't exist for like 30 minutes of screen time.
Yeah,
and then
hell
he's
yeah.
like, okay,
He's
then
right.
he's
They're
like,
cops.
I'm fine with the argument, but not for the reason he gave. He was just mad because he messed up.
Yeah, but like that's it, right? Like that's 100%. Like I like that because I like to see all facets of characters. I think that's an interesting, like, you're Rubik's cubing it, right? And like, oh, cool, this is interesting. And like, we haven't addressed the Jedi in that way yet, right? Like, the Jedi have been these, like, oh, they're just mysterious people, whatever, because we didn't have the prequels then. Now we have the prequels to look back on and like actually be like, no, the Jedi's kind of sucked. They're really bad at this. Like, they're the reason we're in this mess in the first place.
I agree with that. Here's
Which
my
is-
issue. They didn't actually do that. Like, they could have. I think my friend Sparky was making the argument that they could have done something interesting with making Anakin think the Jedi are evil, but they didn't. They just made him an emotional teenager who didn't want to lose his wife, and that was his reason. Luke,
No, no, the prequels are bad.
Luke didn't have a reason either. It wasn't, oh, the Jedi are morally gray and stuff like this. It was, no, I messed up, therefore the Jedi shouldn't exist. That was his reason. He didn't have any reason.
There's something in there. I think he gives a speech to Rey in the beginning
Listen,
scene where
it's like
when
the
she's
same.
talking to him.
It's like the same thing. He's basically doing it for the same reason Spider-Man said he didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Oh, my friends get hurt. Like, that was his reason. He lives on an island by
reason.
himself as a hermit because he doesn't
like,
want anyone to get
all
involved
right.
with him.
Imagine you opened a school up, right? Because you're really good at podcasting, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And during that school, you had like your nephew come in, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, whatever. Like, yo, sick as hell. This is sick. I'm gonna become a podcast. I have the ability to be a podcaster too." And you're like, "Cool. I'm gonna teach you how to be a podcaster." And then he becomes Hitler, Space Hitler. How would you
Hitler,
feel?
Who's really good at talking.
Space Hitler who can carry a laser sword and is really good with it and can cut people in half and also can stop force bolts. Like.
I would probably assume that has nothing to do with podcasting and keep doing my thing. But
I don't know, man. I think you feel a little bit like, oh shit.
You're missing an element of this, is that Luke had the ability to stop him. You're not giving me the
Yes.
ability to stop my nephew in this situation.
But here's the thing, though. Luke trying to stop it is what caused it, right?
Well,
That's what happened.
what I'm saying is,
tried
you're
to
not
kill-
giving.
okay, go.
Okay, so like I see my nephew in his bed, right, and he's sitting there, and I see him pull out a laser sword in his sleep. He's swinging around. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be evil, right?
Yes.
I can stop him then. Allegedly, I could, slit his throat or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But once he becomes Space Hitler, what powers do I get? You have to walk me through this. What powers do I have? Because Luke was fully
Oh
able
no,
to
no,
look
no.
after him.
The whole bit was that it's a joke. It was just that he became Kylo Ren.
No, I know, but I want you to walk me through. I need you to give me the tools I need to take down my nephew if I wanted
You're
to.
Luke Skywalker. Go ahead.
All right,
And,
so now
and action.
my podcaster nephew,
No, just Kylo
Space
Ren. That's his
Hitler.
name.
No, that's not
You gotta use the
hypotheticals.
names on the script, sir.
This isn't how hypotheticals work, Zach.
The hypothetical was a bit, though. So.
Listen, that's the point. You're supposed to. What are
You're
you
gonna
doing? You're
you're gonna
breaking the first
confuse
rule.
everybody.
You're breaking the first rule of improv, Zach. It's supposed to be yes and. You're saying no.
No,
But.
I'm guessing no. No, because it's gonna be confusing. I don't want that.
All right. Well, you can just take a seat while I monologue for a minute, then.
That's what I'm saying. Go.
All right. So my nephew, who podcasts, is like Rylo Ken is sleeping in his bed. I walk in his room, and I see him like swinging a space laser around in his sleep and talking about the Aryan race. And I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta stop this. So I go to put him in a sleeper hold, and he wakes up, knocks me out, and then kills all of my other students, and then leaves and goes for space. I suddenly become Luke Skywalker. And then...
Oh, okay.
And then... I mean, listen, I'm going off the prompts I was given here. I'm
Yeah,
suddenly Luke Skywalker, but a really good podcaster.
Yeah.
You're telling me...
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me right now that it makes sense that I would think, oh, it was the podcasting that did it, and I'm never going to teach someone podcasting again.
Well, if you didn't make him really good at podcasting, he wouldn't be able to get his message across, and then this whole thing wouldn't have started.
Okay. All right. I got to sit on that one for a bit. Well, I'll think about that. Maybe I'll let you know how I feel about that later. But
well, you gotta hurry. Your nephew's in the sky right now. He's gonna fuck everything.
He's in space. He's out there telling like different species of aliens about the Aryan race. He's like, you gotta help me in this. He's gonna blow him up with
the planet. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do all these things.
Yeah, but I need to circle back around to something.
That's fine. Go ahead.
So Festus. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Festus. Back to Eternals.
Not Festus. Druig can control minds.
Yeah.
There is this story.
Mm.
There is a story that Zach and I both partake in called the Magnus Archives. I probably shouldn't have led with controlling minds. I will not. I'm not going to give any more information on that. We're gonna.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. See, you're wrong, because the thing that they have in common is that they're both from the continent of Europe, and
European.
That's what it is. Yeah, they're European. There you go.
So, Magnus Archives, without giving... This is your one chance to listen to this before the next episode comes out where Zach is back. Well, actually, no. It could be the comic one first. But there's another person, TC, you guys remember, who also has listened to the Magnus Archives. When these two come into the episode together, we are going to talk about Magnus. I will give you a brief description of the show. Podcast. I highly recommend it. If it sounds interesting to you at all, do it. If it doesn't, whatever. You'll just hear us talk about it. But essentially, it's a horror anthology, which means a bunch of small stories, which may or may not be connected. And the Magnus Archives themselves are a library with an archive underneath it, where the main character, Jonathan Sims, reads accounts of mysterious happenings, which may or may not be connected into a meta plot, but you'll have to find out, won't you? And it's really cool. It you could say it explores different types of fears and how they manifest, and it's really interesting. And that's your warning. If you think it's interesting, go listen. If you don't, do your thing. But yeah, it's excellent. Do you have any praise for us, Zach?
Oh, 100%. I remember I've sold someone on it actually one time.
Ooh.
Yeah, you want to hear the story?
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, so there's this guy in my break room, and he was like, "Oh, have you heard of this Magnus Archives podcast? I don't know if it's good. I might drop off of it." And I went, "No, no, it gets really good. There's a meta plot, and the stories get really good, and I highly recommend it. I've never talked to you really that much, but I recommend this one thing more than anything else." And then he watched it, and you're listening to his podcast, so
Yeah,
I think
I
that's a
mean,
good sign of how good this series is.
yeah, that's true. That is all.
Mhm.
All those things are
Mhm.
true. I can't confirm or deny because I'm not the only person running this podcast. Could be anyone, but but yeah, those are all true. But I also sold somebody on it.
Yeah, so
It was TC. So yeah, that was that.
there
My
you go.
story's not as funny. I just said, hey, I think you might like this. It's dark, but like it's good. And
Oh
she
my god,
listened, and then she got
it's
hooked
like,
and finished it before I did.
oh man, how do I even describe? It's like if you took like Orson Welles doing the day whatever the Earth, War of the Worlds. That's what I was trying to think of. Not the day the Earth stood still. That's a different movie with Keanu Reeves. Anyway, um, if you took like Orson Welles and you mix it with like the Eldritch horror of oh
Lovecraft.
god, yeah, Lovecraft. Sorry, thank you. I'm floundering. And you tell I'm hungry. um, and and you just mix those two together with like a little hint of like weird audio from like if you were ever a kid and they put on tapes in the classroom to read stories to you, like little short stories, and like they had that weird like that little click and then the weird like analog like just the static because like they spoke to shitty mics and the hums of it. It's that same. It's like all of those things combined to me, and I love it. It's such a brilliantly done, handled really well. Like the people who made it love it, and they care for how it sounds and how it feels, and it comes across, I think, really well.
I think
Uh,
yeah. Um, in King's Kitchen, we do love a little bit of analog, if
y-
it's not been made obvious yet. But yeah, it's lovely. It's amazing. It's like there's not much you can say without spoiling it
yeah, that's
because
the one problem.
it's a mystery. It's a horror mystery at the end of the
Mhm.
day. So yeah, highly recommend. Would watch again. Have watched partway again.
We'll be watching again because I have
Will
to
be
listen to it
watching
again
again. Yeah,
because I'm gonna have to listen to it before we do it. Jump in so I can be fresh.
we're both gonna have to go through training montages of both Magnus and comics in general.
Well, comics is a little easier because I could just read those.
Yeah,
I have an app
yeah.
now.
You can't listen to a podcast faster,
No,
unfortunately.
I wish. I mean, you could, but you would get nothing. Like if you're not that
Yeah.
kind of like the person who can access 3% of their brain, like I can't. You know,
You would have to actually be sitting staring at a wall in order to pay attention if you had
you
it
would
on a higher speed.
you would have to become Kingpin, which you won't get because you haven't seen Daredevil to understand that scene.
Well, perhaps
Understand.
one. I know he ends up blinded at some point. I think. Actually, did they do that in the show? Actually, don't spoil that. I
Uh,
might watch it eventually.
in the Daredevil show, I don't think so.
Okay.
In
Comics,
Hawkeye,
yes.
maybe.
Oh, that's a yeah, yeah.
That is the scene where it happens in the comics.
Sometimes family they argue and disagree on things.
Vanessa. Oh, you don't know who that is? Shit, wait.
Vanessa, was that
Wait.
a? I thought that was a security
That's his.
breach reference.
No, that's his wife.
Gregory,
Gregory.
I found the key to Roxy's room.
Oh, why did you do that?
I need you to vent, Gregory. Gregory, I am your friend.
Get inside me now.
Why though?
Oh, so good. God, that game's bad though. That game is so bad.
Oh, it's bad. I love the
It's
aesthetic. It's amazing. The aesthetic is great, but the
Yeah,
game
nailed
is
it.
a little bad.
A little buggy, just a little bit.
I will say though, Roxy, if you're listening to this, I'm single.
My friends don't drink Pepsi Cola, don't want that stuff, that deadly soda. Blunts wrapped tight like store controller, just puff past mics, I'll pour this over. Walk into the corner store, bucket full of cigarettes. Grab the cheapest one they've got, nothing like living in debt. Counting my quarters, I need to get a drink. What you think? Do you hear it when I sing? My friends don't drink Dr. Pepper, don't want those flavors all together. Just catch some vibes, some perfect weather and live.